How we doing? Hope we're all doing well. Can't believe it's Friday already. My week has just flown by. We all been busy? So I've half set up. Oops. You didn't see anything. There we go. That can just go back in place and that can be locked in place. There we go. There we go. Alright, how are we looking? Who we got? Who we got? How are we doing? What are we looking at? Finally weekend. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna be sat at the TSN Arena this weekend and painting, which would be nice. Gives me something to do. That'll be good. Another fix my list. Yeah, I am back. Apologies for the break and the abrupt end on the episode 2 weeks ago. I was having some personal life issues, but I think everything is better now, or as better as it's getting, and that will do. Will do. Got some interesting things to look at. I think there's some wacky lists this evening, I would say. Evening Existence. Evening, Richard. Hope I'm doing well. Thank you, Ghost Wolf. Appreciate that. I am alright, thank you. Just, it's been a long day. I started at 9, and it's been 1 3-hour session and then lots of 1-hour sessions. It's obviously good to have work, not complaining about that at all. But you get to sort of 5:30, which is when I stopped. I was like, man, got to stream again. Yes. I was thinking about playing this weekend. There's a video in the works. There's a Chaos Dwarf army coming for next weekend, and I'm glad that I didn't force it. I'm just topping up my water. That's why I'm looking down to the right. I'm glad I didn't force it because I have not had time to do much. Honestly, I've not really got much done. Ah, nice. Good to see you, Paul. I've got your list in here. Go start through. Yeah, YouTube not having the same names as Discord definitely messes me up. Even when I know who someone is on YouTube, I forget because you see a lot of names in the chat. But yeah, you were meant to be coming this weekend, and Rob said it sounded like you weren't going to be able to. Hope you're all right. Are you just busy or something? The usual, if you're here and you haven't already, thumbs up the stream, please, and also thank you. Helps get picked up by the algorithm. All that jazz. All that jazz. I'm a little bit cut off the screen there, I think. Let's just go like so. That'll do. Infection in the joint of your foot. That sounds miserable, mate. Sorry to hear that. Let's see how it is. Trying to make me read symbols that I can't read. Very rude. Cool. All right. Well, I guess let's get started. We'll just go straight into it. Fix some lists and all that jazz. So, let's start with Paul's list. So the context of this one is looking to improve my results with ogres at a square-based comp event. What are your thoughts on this list? And the context to this is that you played this on stream at one of the earlier square-based events, and I think had a bit of a rough run. It's painful you can't stand. Oof. I mean, there's comfy chairs at the TSN Arena. Not to say that you ever have to stand. We could set you up downstairs, you know. just put you in a chair, just wheel you around. That'll be fine. Nice. Skaven Spawn got to Adepticon. Very cool. Obviously, it's this weekend. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. Maybe I'll have to have a look at some of the lists. I haven't really looked at anything so far. I seem to remember that there wasn't anywhere to submit the lists, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with them. All right, let's have a look at this list. We'll start off in Ogreland with the square-based comp ogres. So you've gone for a big Iron Gut Star, Noblars, lots of Noblars, Mournfang Cavalry. And then you've got Bruiser on a Thunder Tusk. Okay. So you've got a Bruiser on the Thunder Tusk with triple saves. A little bit of static combat res. How many wounds do you get on a Thunder Tusk? Is it +4? So you go up to 8. So 390 points for T6, 8 wounds with a 5-up, 5-up, 5-up. That's not too shabby. Death Cheater to make people reroll 1 successful wound into you. That does work nicely. And a great weapon as well. Yeah. Okay. I feel like having one monster. One monster probably isn't the way. I'd want, like, 2. I guess the Mournfang Cavalry are a monster in a way. But I almost wonder if you want to go, like, double monster there. So you got your Tyrant in the Brick of Iron Guts, which is a great weapon with Mastodon Armor, Paymaster's Coin, Mountain Eater. Mastodon Armor. It's been a hot minute since I've looked at the Ogre items. Full plate with a 6-up ward. Is that the way to go? Great weapon. I mean, I feel like if you're going for the Iron Gut Star, do you not just go whole hog and go for the Tenderizer and go then Talisman of Protection as well? That probably would be the way. Double or nothing on the monsters. Hey, Scott's here as well. Good to see you, Goldfire, as well. Double monster sounds cool. Yeah, I think it's probably double. So, I think if we strip this apart, I'd want to see, realistically, this character wants to be able to hold its own against anything. So let's go with Talisman of Protection, which does make it a little bit difficult to go double monster. But we'll work that out. We go Tenderizer as well. So this guy just slaps. Mountain Eater. Can't be wounded on 2s. Nah, that's not worth the points. Probably just Death Cheater for 5 points. Then if someone has a killing blow, you can make them re-roll it, but otherwise you don't really care. Being able to reroll a single failed wound against a large target. That's not bad, because your strength 5 base... The Tenderizer +3 strength, actually. Strength +2, so your strength 7. You probably don't need... Yeah, you probably don't need Beast Killer. You could go with Kin Eater. Actually, I don't hate Kin Eater here on the general, because then you get that BSB reroll, but you don't need to have the BSB in range. Hey, hope you're doing well. So that feels like a good, solid character. At 2/4, surely we've got to be able to fit 2 big beasties in. But the problem is if you want to go for the wizard... I'm not a fan of the Butcher's Cauldron. I think it's not worth. Because when you're in combat, you don't get the regen. And it makes the unit really unwieldy. Because you've got to sit on the outside. Because when you're on a Butcher's Cauldron, you become, what is it, like 60 by 100 mil? Or something like that. You go on a weird base that doesn't fit in. Maybe it's 50 by 100 mil. And then ogres normally go on 40s. So it doesn't fit in, which means you have to go on the edge of the unit. Which means that the unit suddenly becomes quite wide. Magic Resist, Law Familiar, Spangle Shard. I mean... Going for Mountain Eater here as well? Nah. We're spending a lot of points on keeping these characters alive. They're ogres. They should be fine. Death Cheater's great. Just Death Cheater to stop them killing blowing you. I can't see anything else being particularly necessary. I like the Magic Resist. Probably Law Familiar is pretty necessary. I don't think you need a Spangle Shard, though. Because you're going to be taking Oaken Shield. So you don't need the 4 ward save. Like, I can't see this character getting picked out of units too easily. Then if we drop this to free up points, I don't know that we're going to be able to fit another character in. Maybe like I like the tech there for the regen, but it's a lot of points. Is there a way to go like super cheap on these? What have we got available? I mean, maybe you do go with BSB on this one. It's 55 points to get you a regen, and you pair it with Meteoric Iron. And then... Actually, what armor save does a Thunder Tusk get? Is it just heavy armor? It's just heavy armor. That is pretty naff, like... 237 points. Can we fit... Like, how do we fit another one in? Bruiser, Thunder Tusk, Death Cheetah, Spangle Shard? That's... 78 points over. And that's without a great weapon. Hard to fit everything in that we want. That is for sure. That is for sure. So if we drop the BSB part of it, there's no way to get, like, there's no other ward saves available. We've used the one already, right? I guess there's the Mastodon Armor for a 6-up ward, which I don't love. But full plate plus, and then you can't take the Iron Fit and a great weapon. Okay. It's something. Iron Guts, it's 25 points. You can't get MR on there. Man, this is rough. I'm really trying to crowbar in those 2 monsters and the big Death Star. I feel like you should be able to do it at 2,400 points. Like, if there's any way you should be able to do that, it would be here. But the Wizard is so expensive. Like, okay, so what do we... If we strip it down to its bare parts... we're still 3 points over here. What I struggle with is having more than 2 characters in the Army block. Yeah, absolutely. Like, let's just go the Tyrant and the Slaughtermaster in, and then these bruises are separate. Maybe we just drop the Death Cheetah off the Wizard. Like, the Wizard shouldn't be getting absolutely ruined in combat. It's the Saucy Ward save, so it would be nice to have, but... Like, you're going to be soaking challenges on the Tyrant or the Unit Champion, so, yeah, maybe that's it. And then... Fistful of Laurels is reroll Break Test, right? Yeah, that is good. Maybe you just don't go with Magic Resist. Feels a little bit rough, but... Y2P on Oaken Shield. That's a great point. That is a great point. I'm so used to just putting the TOP on there. Which means that this Bruiser can lose the Mastodon Armor and go for the cheaper Talisman of Protection. There we go. There we go. Now it works. And then we can go with Kin Eater for the BSB, Panic, and rerolls there. Can we even get... with 3 points shy of also going for Magic Resist? What's the leadership on Tyrant? Leadership 9. Is there anything we can cut? Like, one of these could have me... We can either go for... Try and fit MR on the Slaughtermaster, or we can put... 5 up, 5 up on one of these. I think we just lose the Death Cheater on the Wizard. Oh, we've done that already. Okay, that's... okay, we're gonna have to... What's it for? Panic and Rally. Really consistent. Armor and Meteoric Iron on the General. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. It's not a bad shout at all. If we do that, we've got 50 points, but we can't get the MR in as well. Okay, I think maybe we just drop the MR, and we accept that for what it is. It'd be nice to have, but also I'm not sure how else we get there. You've got the wizard in the unit for some resistance anyway. And like points are so tight. Trying to do double character. You're pretty wounds dense as well, so as long as it's not Spectral Doppelganger with the Shug, with the Monkey King's Wisdom, you'll probably be alright. Yeah. I mean, we can still go... Oh, we can't even go ML1 because we've got 15 points available. Alright. Like that, maybe. Maybe that's correct. Death Cheetah. I can see this. I can see this. Double monster. You've got the Iron Gut Star, and then you've got the Mornfang Cavalry as well. Totem of Wrath does make them slap, to be fair. What we can do, I know there's downsides to it, but I think the regen on this unit, like, you don't necessarily need to run people down with it, you just need to kind of win fights with it, and theoretically, you've got the 3 faster units to back you up. Slash, if you wanted to, you could even tag something with the Saber Tusks in the flank, and use them for the Swift Stride. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Obviously, this unit now feels less useful the way that it was, because you did have it attached with a hunter to come in on the flank, and I like that, but I think it's a lot of points. It's like 250 points. What if you just went 2 by 60? Like this here, 2 small ambushing units. It's enough to mess with backline units, because they're not bad. 2 attacks, a weapon skill 4, strength 4 each. No AP, they've got armor bane, but they have got, you know, skirmish for 360 line of sight. They've got swift stride. Go in, get baggage trains. This feels pretty usable. So, Death Star that can kill God. Double Bruiser on Thunder Tusk, which will hit real hard. Mornfang Cavalry, which will also hit real hard. 2 Skirmishing Saber Tusks. And then we've just got 1,000,000 units of Nobblers. How many points are we over? 20. So 6... This is probably going to go like 6 by... 6 by 2, right? Oh, wait, hold on. You've got Veteran on there. Oh, okay, we don't need Kin Eater. Well, butter my biscuits. That makes things a lot easier. We'll go Death Cheater on there, and then we'll give this wizard... It's not as much MR as I'd like, but we'll give them at least MR1. Because I really would like some MR on there. Obsidian Lodestone. There's nothing on here that gives you MR, is there? Oh. That's pretty good. Honestly, I kind of like the idea of this Hellheart. Next starter phase, enemy wizards miscast on any natural double for 20 points. Like, into the meta right now, that's so good. Shigengans, suddenly it becomes a lot scarier. I guess the problem is miscasts are not guaranteed to be bad. You've got a 40% chance that it just means that you cast your spell. Hey, Matthew. But, I mean, against Wild Herd, this is kind of cool. I don't think we want to go for it over the Magic Resist. Okay, so we've got MR1 in the unit. That feels good. So this unit has the Cannibal Standard, Fistful of Laurels, Full Command, Look at Nobler Veterans, and magic items at the bottom as well. Odd. Okay. Then we've got the Fighters. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where are we getting the 30 points from? Where are we getting the 30 points from? Oh, you've given them Iron Fists? Iron Fist with Totem of Wrath is interesting. I don't think I like it, but you get a lot of attacks. So you've got 3 attacks from the Ogres, becoming 4, and you've got 3 attacks from the Mornfangs. You've got... What are they equipped with, the Mornfangs? Monstrous Tusks. AP1, becoming AP2. So, assuming you charge like an infantry unit, you've got 12 attacks that are Strength 4 AP2. It is Strength 4? Strength 5 AP2. Okay. That's not bad. You got the impact hits as well, which are AP1 and Armor Bane 1. Interesting. I still feel like it's probably just the great weapons, but this does get you to a 3-up save, which is not too shabby. You just have to make sure that you win. So you probably want to use this unit with something else. Like, it's got to be in conjunction with something else. If they go in their own and they flub, then things have gone really bad. I think the only downside to this list, like the way it functions, is the base size of these Thunder Tusks. They make it, and the fact that they're, also move 6 and they don't fly, makes it really hard to get them in to assist things. It's not like you can just march at 20 inches and get in a flank. You're marching 12 inches, and then your wheel is also twice as much, I guess, or almost twice as much. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, I think there's play with this. This is more the direction I go. How are we cutting 30 points? Is it just dropping a unit of Noblars? That feels a little bit rough. 3-up save, but like you said, they won't punch as well with their great weapons. Yeah, I think fuck it. Actually, like we can't. Oh, what am I doing? Who am I editing? Yeah, I think we've just got to live in the moment and kill stuff. Yeah, and if you get shot, you get shot. You've got screens of Noblar fighters to throw into the bus if someone's bringing, like, Nuln or something like that. Speaking of the Noblars, we have to cut 30 points. I like the 2 units of Saber Tusks. I think it's probably just one of these units has to go, which is a shame. In fact, what if you just went... Can we fit... 20. You have to start with 20. I don't really want to go for 2 smaller units. How do we fill the rest of these points? Like, there's no points to spend in characters. I assume it's just you go slightly bigger on the units, so you go up to like 35s or something. It does make each unit slightly more worthwhile to kill, but like not much more worthwhile. And it means that if you're doing the stupid screen where you go like they flee through each other, don't cause panic because they're largely insignificant, and then they just keep doing it, you can just keep chaining that. Yeah, I think this. I think this is maybe the way that I'd go. But yeah, I think like surely the double Thunder Tusk has got to have some play. I was looking at it previously, like a few streams ago, just before the FAQ. That was it. And like this feels like a decent model, right? You've got the stomp attacks, you've got the impact hits. You've got first charge on there as well. Numbing chill is kind of whatever. -1 to weapon skill is nice, so it means that you're not going to be hit on 3s as much. But I guess if you've got a bruiser on there, it kind of doesn't matter. But yeah, looking forward to seeing you run it out. Not this weekend, but another time. So yeah, we'll go with so. You know what? I'm just going to keep going with people that I've seen in the chat recently. So we're going to go with Matthew, and Matthew said, "Double Thunder sounds cool." Yeah, I think it's the sort of thing where if you take one, there's so many cannons in existence right now that you just lose them. Like, you don't get any value out of them. I think you need 2. But then if they're shooting them, they're not shooting the Death Star or the Mournfang. So I think you can get some real value out of that. Your list will take a long time. Many detailed choices. Love that. You said any tweaks you'd make. I could do a squig-like wizard if needed. Okay, I'm in. So, this is for Battle March. You've got a Mangler Squig in Battle March. I know that your Battle March local scene is pretty competitive, but a Mangler Squig in Battle March is wild. It's a shame you can't do 2 of them. It is a shame you can't do 2 of them. Ooh. Are you, for Battle March, I always forget the specifics for Battle March. Are you capped to 2 units in special for Battle March? Let's just pull up the... Mustering a Battle March. Unit limitations. Doesn't say anything there. No limit on number of units. Hard times to bring ogres with as many cannons? 100%. That is very true. That is very true. Because I feel like you have at least 2 non-character units, including war machines, but not swarms. Okay, cool. So this is wild. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. This is crazy, but it is themed. Now, for 192 points, I'm not saying you should do this, but I am just going to quickly draw everyone's attention to the fact that if you go for 30 Night Goblins with full command and 3 netters, you're 182 points. So when you're running 18 squigs plus 4 squig herds, what you're saying is, I want to pay 10 more points than 30 Night Goblins plus 3 fanatics. It's the only squig core, everything else is edible. I know, I understand. But I just want to make sure that everyone understands what they're looking at here. Like, in terms of the opportunity cost of running the theme. Anyway, that aside, we'll remove that. Oh, no, you're capped on number of squigs by the number of characters. Because I was thinking, what if you just went for multiple, like, more units of squig hoppers? Because I feel like 10 is a lot. And I don't know that you need to go that many, but I guess you could take fanatics and the list would be so good. It's a good point. I've never done it. Yeah. Okay. So in terms of what you've gone for, you've got a full war boss in general. So you've got 4 wounds. Nice. It's pretty tanky as Battle March goes. You've gone for light armor, shield, and Dechopius Chopper. That is punchy. Is Dechopius Chopper the way forwards? Because it's only strength plus 1. Would it be better to go, like, you haven't even got like a charm shield on here? What if you went like meteoric iron and great weapon? It's cheaper and arguably tankier. Switch war boss out to the big boss and get a 3rd character. You split the compass. Yeah, that is an option. Let's see what that looks like. Oops. I slipped. I accidentally put the characters I wanted to put in. Alright, so big boss, giant cave squig, light armor, and great weapon. Duplicate. So, if we go for the general, let's make the general a little bit tankier. So you go meteoric iron, charm shield. I understand that you can't use that with the great weapon, but just as you're running up, it'll give you some value. Take off the light shield there. Your entire army is immune psychology, so you don't really need the leadership. That is a very good point. That is the most compelling thing you've said about this. I do like that. Okay, so we've got the tanky general, who's got still 3 wounds. That's not bad. Then we've got the Backstabber's Blade, which is it reroll hits in the flank and the side, flank and the rear? Strength plus 1, AP minus 1, reroll any failed wound rolls. In the rear, it's failed hit and wound. Okay, that's not bad. What about, because I think if we're being realistic with each other, there's not going to be multiple turns where you're getting, like, you're not going to be fighting with one character, like, 3 times, realistically, especially in Battle March. These characters will kind of blow their load, and then things will be dead, or they will have run out of steam, I think. So what if the big boss, this one, gets the Walloper's one-hit wonder, plus a charmed shield? Like so, with the light armor. See that? That I like. That I do like. With 797, so we are over. The boss squeaks have armor hide, so they're not terrible. Oh, that's true, actually. So we're getting up to, like, this one. Oh, is the Meteoric Iron even better, then? Because you would be on a 4-up save. Armor shield. Yeah, I think Meteoric Arm's still better for the general, with a great weapon. And then you've got 2 that are 4-up saves with a charm shield and a one-handed weapon. As you say, winning one combat's probably the goal. Yeah, I think Wallop's one-hit wonder is an incredible way to go. I'd also love to try and fit, like, Paymaster's Coin on there, but I think that is kind of taking the mick a little bit. Okay, so if we drop down to, it's probably got to be 5s, right? I think we can also shave points on the Cav Spears. They're nice to have, but if it means the difference of an extra model. So with 3 points over. Oh, we're over on points here, so if you go one less squig herd, one less squig, and then 2 more squig herders, that changes the math on the unit a little bit. But you don't want them to die and explode. Like, you don't want the squigs to go too wild, right? You like the cav spears. Even big arms. Okay. So you go with the cav spears. What does that actually look like? So then we're probably looking at... Okay, so we're looking at 1 6 and 2 5s. With some spare points left over, I think. You say that it looks a bit, it feels a bit spendy. 20, like 25 points. They're all in the same benchmark. I guess you could go no meteoric iron and light armor, like that. Probably still just the great weapon, right? I feel like that's probably still best. It's not like there's a third cheap, surprisingly effective weapon that I can think of. Like the cav spears, yeah, okay. Because if you go here and you just go, like, keep it relatively cheap, I guess it can still be the general. It doesn't really matter which one's which, right? And then you've got enough points to go up to 6 6 and 6. Yeah. I think like this does it. 3 units of 6 feels better than 2 units of 10 for me. Because you're kind of, again, like the squigs, you're kind of you're gonna do it or you're not gonna do it. And you don't need to hang around after the fact. And then this unit is just hilarious, and it's less likely to blow up, and it's more likely to get you points because it's it's got the squigs in. The more squig herders. Anyway, the squigs are wild. This is the rule that I can't remember if I showed it, but if they ever break and flee from combat. Oh, I thought it was to do with if the squig herders were dead. I guess I'm talking about my backside. Still, you definitely want to at least keep one of them because you need the leadership to stop them from breaking and fleeing. So having them means they're a little bit more durable to incoming damage. Anyway, I think that has squigged nicely. I'm gonna send them off as like a massive bomb and just see if they'll blow anything up with Squigs Go Wild. How many hits is it? D3 strength 5 hits with additional 5 cave squigs for +1 to the D3. That's not that many hits. Like, it's a bomb that costs like 190 points, and best case scenario, you still have 3 times 5. You still have 15 squigs, and you do D3 +2 hits. I'm not sold that is. Yeah, you don't pay for the bomb. Yeah. I think I would hope that they live, and if they don't, hope not to be close to them. What is it? Is it within 2d6? 2d6. Wild and wacky. Wild and wacky. Alright. Cool. Good stuff. We've had squigs and we've had ogres. It's a good start. You'll think about the fanatic, but you don't have to. It's Battle March. Just have fun with it. Like, who cares? It's just funny that, like, the list version that you posted, it was 192 points for this unit of squig herds, and then I was like, but what if you paid 10 points less and had a good unit? You could even have your fanatics with squigs on the end of the chains. There we go. Okay. Alrighty then. Perfect. We started to pick up a little bit. I did post the link to the stream a little bit late today, because I was busy, and I forgot, honestly. I was too busy putting the lists in the list builder, and then I got to sort of half an hour before, I went, oh shit, I gotta do things. Now zombies. Alright, fine. Alright, let's have a look, Goldfire. So, inspired by Team Italy's Vampire Counts list, and some of the no me, no GG, okay, yeah. So no Grave God list that have seen some popularity a lot due to comp. What do you think of it? It does pretty well at Six Nations teams, I know. So we need to remind ourselves what the list was exactly. Because I remember looking at it beforehand, but what I didn't do is I didn't look at who it was paired into. You know what? Let's just add another screen capture. This is probably going to be the easiest way of doing things. Add new source. Cool. Apologies. Okay. Let's just, it doesn't need to go all the way across. Something like this will do nicely. All right, this will do. Let's have a look at the Team Italy list, because obviously they've won, but it's very interesting to me that they didn't take a standard vampire count list. So, they had level 4 Necromancer, Spell Familiar, Tome of Spellcraft, Icon of Fortitude. Icon of Fortitude is interesting. It means that you can't get sniped out. So that is a nice little tech piece, just to mean that you don't lose into cannons, which means, as far as I'm thinking, this list is to soak the shooting matchups. Then we've got the level 3 Scepter of Denaro for double res and the Spell Familiar. Interesting that it's this way round. I guess because they want the Tome of Spellcraft. What do they want the Tome of Spellcraft for specifically? I feel like this list would be better if you put the Scepter of Denaro on that character. I could afford to use 35 points, right? Let me just double check. Oh, Spellstaff is... No, they did go Scepter. So, Scepter of Denaro is 35. Tome of Spellcraft is 30, so we're up to 65. Then what was the last item? The last item was Icon of Fortitude. 35, right? Icon of Fortitude. Why can't I find it? 35. Okay. Arcane. Arcane, yeah. I don't understand why they wouldn't put the Scepter of Nero there. It's like the same points. I feel like that's just an objectively wrong choice, unless there's something that isn't obvious on the list, and it's more about the playstyle. But I don't see... No, I know it's not his list I'm fixing, but like I need to work out why it ticks, right? To understand really what's going on here. So I'm looking at this and thinking that it's an anti-shooting list, and they've got lots of resing. But what I don't understand is why this isn't here. Like, I don't understand why that beat would be. Maybe it's just if you want to keep a wizard safe, you run the general away, but you can't march. So you're really slow. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's wrong. I feel like the scepter and the tome should be flipped. Spell Familiar is extremely common. I can't see a reason for that. I'd be curious to understand why that is the case. Double Banshee. Okay. White Lord BSB, Arch Lightning Rod. Cool. Yeah, I guess the BSB rerolls are still just super important. And the Arch Lightning Rod works well there because of the command. Sure. Okay. You can give him fly. You can give him fly. But, like... Yeah, okay. Just make the general the level 3 then, with those items, and make the level 3 wizard not the general. Sorry, like flip around which one's the general. And make the level 4 the one with the Scepter of Denaro. Like, that would make more sense to me. Because then also the level 4 is going to be where you need it to be. Like, I don't see a reason not to just flip the general around then, surely. Because I don't disagree that keeping the general safe... Like, I think that makes sense. But you could just keep them the same and change the levels of wizardry. Anyway, whatever. And then there's a million zombies, and I guess the reason that there's so many zombies is so they can't be shot off the board. So, like, you go into Nuln, for example, and they get first turn. You don't want to just lose units of zombies before you get to put any res into them. Spirit Hosts, again, for the same reason. You can play very aggressively, and then Hex Wraiths. So this is, like, full teams send into, like, not Nuln without magic shots, any other shooting armies. it's a personal choice. I don't think it is a personal choice. I think it's inefficient, and I don't see a reason for it. There is no, like, having the level 3 here and the level 4 there. I don't see any benefit to having it this way around when you could swap the two of them. Like, I don't think there's any reason that you wouldn't have the wizard the higher level one, even if you want to keep the general, not the one with the scepter in a row. That makes sense. I understand that, but I just don't understand why you wouldn't change the level of the wizards. Like, I can't see a reason for it. Okay, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I also don't know that you need... Hold on. I don't know that you need... No, you don't need Lore Familiar. I was going to say, you could just pick Lore Familiar if you wanted, but I think the Tome of Spellcraft is really nice if you're not running a Mortis engine, so it's good to have. Cool. Okay, so we've looked at that list. Let's go back to Goldfire's list. What are we working with? So many characters. Okay, so you got zombies, crypt ghouls, 1 unit of spirit hosts, hex wraiths, and then you've got the scepter general. Then you've got the level 3 dispel, level 1 illusion, and then the White Lord with the... Okay, so what's the thinking between the two acolytes? What do they add to the list that you think the version from Italy didn't have? Because you don't want them in the unit. I know you've given them illusion, but if you put the wizards in the units of zombies, I guess it gives you like better coverage against shooting. So you can stack negative modifiers, and then you can hide other things behind them. Extra signatures? Oh, like... Are we going for Van Hells? Or is the goal to, like, spam out 1 million summon zombies? Is it Raise Dead? All characters with ghouls. Is that right? Weapon skill 4 zombies? Sure. Yeah. I don't believe in Raise Dead. Yeah, me either. I don't think that was a good suggestion. Which isn't what you were suggesting. I just, was trying to work it out. So, I think here, like, after my confusion, I would say, let's make this the general, the one without the Scepter of Nero. I think that was a good point from Richard. And then we just have to go Icon of Fortitude here. Make sure we've got it in the right place. And then take it off this character. And then you've got the Scepter to double res on the level 4. Sure. I just have to see this played. Because I feel like this only plays into shooting. You're saying weapon skill 4 zombies, but like zombies just die to dedicated melee, right? So like, do we think this plays well into dragons? I don't. Because you can just crunch the zombies, or you can like try and catch that big unit of ghouls that's got thousands, or not thousands, but like how many points? 650 points worth of characters tied up in it. He played 2 Dragonless. Oh yeah, I didn't have a look at how he did. I just like, I've not seen this playstyle. It's very hard to conceptualize how it works because I don't think it should work into melee. He played 2 dragons and 2 Cathay lists. Shug spam. I could see it working into Cathay because they have lower output, but like dragons just should stomp them to death. And this is speaking from experience of stomping lots of zombies to death. Like it's not the best dragon list. Okay. Yeah, I need to see this played to understand it. I think I'm really confused as to how how it didn't go well. All right, double illusion, vermilion quills. Oh, okay. So we don't have consistency on our. What the fuck is vermilion quills? Right. Okay. So we're looking at two level. The first Cathay list he played into didn't have consistency on Spectral Doppelganger, so that's a problem. You're confused as well. That's why you need to unconfuse me. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should play it or something. Maybe that's the solution. Not anytime soon because I'm incredibly busy. But I'd be curious to see it played. That's for sure. Played into Chaos Dwarves. Okay. Ireland was there for vibes. I think was their official party line. So I'm not gonna weigh in on that too much. Wolves of the Sea. France's Warriors of Chaos player who lost every game. Oh yeah, I'm not a fan of the like. I'm out on the Infernal Puppet Demon Prince. Like you could just play the dragons and put pressure on, and I think that does the job better. Okay, so that's fine. Then into England. Who did he beat on England? Steve Toll. Steve knows what he's doing. Although they're really low on their output. Like, I'm not a fan of this. Where's the level 4 knowing 5 spells and the Spectral Doppelganger, like, additional character? This is more of a shooting heavy list. Okay, so I can see it beating that. Where the hell? Oh, beat Wood Elves. Okay, sure, fine. So all of the matchups, like I'm looking at and going like, yeah, I can see why it beat that list because like here's a single dragon chaos list, here's a single dragon wood elf list, so they're gonna struggle with output more. Here's shug lists but without consistent spectral doppelganger. Although cackling blade is nice. I don't know. That feels weird. I don't really get it. But I don't know that this I don't think it should beat melee lists. But they're pairing it into melee lists is the thing. They're not pairing it into the shooting list, they're pairing it into the melee lists. I just don't know that there's enough beef there to stop it from dying. I think, and I'm sorry that I won't be able to fix this list because I don't really truly understand how it works. I think the cuts that you've made in the ethereal probably harm the list. I think you just want as much pressure that your opponent can't deal with as possible. Yeah. Like this list with the more 4 ethereal units preys on the non-magical attacks, but the shug list has like 1,000,000 magic weapons. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm really keen to see more about it. I'll have to look up to see if anyone's done any interviews with them, or maybe reach out or something. Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't understand. Well, that's a mystery. So hopefully we'll find out. I'm gonna have to look into this. I'm super busy for the next week, but maybe in a couple of weeks' time I'll have to see if he's yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Richard here as well. Let's have a look at a exile list. Full stop. So my first bit of fix my list. I'm gonna say that should be an exiles list. That's I'm just teaching you across the pond how to speak the Queen's English. Oh, it's not the Queen anymore. You know, you can forgive me for messing that one up. She was alive for 300 years. Drank the blood of children to stay young. Was a lizard. These are all things that I've learned from David Icke. David Icke? One of the two. You like A for America. Ah, fair enough. You've got me there. Okay, so you've gone for Double Baron, Paladin, Outcast Wizard. I'll look at loadouts in a second, but that's a good start. Yeoman, Peasant, Bowman. I think I would tweak those slightly. Double Cannon, Peasant Knights, Pegasus Knights with Totem Wrath. Cool. So, like, immediate vibes, probably good. Triple Obsidian Lodestone. Okay. Triple Obsidian Lodestone, Charm Shield, Virtue of Heroism. Damn. I don't know if I think Virtue of Heroism is super worth running anymore. But it is only 260 points, and it's Magic Resist 3. So, I think this is worth playing around with. Fuck Magic? Yeah, this does say fuck Magic. This is a list that can play into Beastmen. Okay, and then you've gone for the second Baron, which is Spell Eater Axe. This is a mistake. I'm assuming that this Spell Eater Axe is meant to be the Frontier Axe, is that correct? Because you've gone Knightly Temper, Syrian's Locket, Charm Shield. You got really lost in the source. You're like, I hate magic. I hate magic so much. No worries. No worries. So we've got Syrian's Locket, Charm Shield, Frontier Axe. This is a very standard build. Bard of Pegasus, Exile. Yeah, great. Love that. No additional thoughts needed. Cool. Paladin, Banner of Shalons, Lance, Heavy Armor, Exile's Vow, Falconhorn, Charm Shield, Virtue of the Impetuous Knight. How many points? Okay. So then you've gone for the Outcast Wizard, level 3, Dark Magic, Lore Familiar, Power Scrolls. Sure. So this is a build that can play into Beastmen, and you're going to try and pin down the brick. You're overcoming the -1 to hit by the Frenzy and Hatred. It can play into Undead, because you can one-shot the Graveguard, you can kill Tomb Guard with it. So this is like the crack the Death Star version. I'm not opposed. There's also the option to go Lore Familiar single power scroll Ruby Ring of Ruin. I don't hate that. I think it gives you more play into the general field. In fact, I think I would change that, because there's probably only going to be one turn where it's crucially important that you get the spell off. I guess you want Word of Pain on the same turn, but are you going to be in range of their Death Star? I think not. I think realistically, this unit kind of hangs around in the backfield, or like behind the Pegasus Knights, but close enough that you can get some value. So I think Ruby Ring work. Wait, am I stupid? Oh, yeah, I can't do maths. That's fine. So we'll go double power scroll. I would love Ruby Ring of Ruin, but you have to give up the power, like both power scrolls, and that doesn't work. I fumbled the maths there. Okay, so this is a good setup. I think, hot take, boom, Paladin's gone. Paladin's gone. I was looking at your local meta, not your like local meta, but I was looking at the American meta earlier. Where are all the shooting lists? They just don't exist. Like, there's Cathay up there, which has cannons, but there's, like, no shooting armies, as far as I can tell. And also, like, all of the ranged pressure is, like, Beastmen. Obviously, this is maybe more looking at playing, like, international online events, but I still think Green Knight. I actually think Green Knight is going to bring more to this list than you're going to get from just having the whatchamacallit. We are probably going to go over on points here, though. We'll need to fix that. Yeah, we'll need to fix that. So I think the first thing we're doing is we're dropping one of the power scrolls, and we'll see how we can get into it. Double bombard's still good, although I have been thinking about just dropping the bombards and going like, what if you just went 2 units of Pegasus Knights? I don't think it's right, but it is a thought that I have had and played around with. These Pegasus Knights, you want a unit champion there. Sometimes you just got to throw someone under the bus. So you definitely want to chuck that in. And then the reason isn't Granite Midwest loves banner characters. Alright, that is a problem. Okay, well, I think the Paladin is a good second choice. Like, I don't hate the Paladin. If you are going for the Paladin, I would be more tempted to go Impetuous Knight is fine if we can fit it. I think I'd be tempted to drop the no fly banner. Oh, that's really nice into Beastmen. What I want to go with is this character goes for charmed cackling blade and just does attack like damage that way. This character stays as it is. This character gets the obsidian lodestones for MR2. But this version is like specifically tech to beat Beastmen, so I'm curious to see how it plays. Maybe there's some real value in having it that way. So yeah, having the Falcon Horn is not bad. I almost wonder if you want a second version of that item. Like, I don't know where you'd fit it, but I feel like if you're turning off fly, you kind of want to be able to turn off fly for 2 turns. That's kind of my hot take. Could get rid of standard shoot banner for +1 strength. Yeah, I think I like Shalons. If you're going for a second banner, you don't need more output. Like, the output that you need is like to hit. That's where the problems are going to be. It's not going to be to wound because you've got some real value there. So if we're doing this, what if we can't lose the power scroll? I don't know how we fit in. There's nothing that we can fit in here. Unless it's like Paladin. I feel like this is incorrect. I really feel like this is incorrect. How expensive is an Outcast Wizard? 45 points. But you don't get a reroll on it. So Paladin, On Foot, Exile's Vow, Arch Lightning Rod. So many points over. The 1-cast-1 would be Pog. It can't, unfortunately. It's an arcane item. Shalon's wrecks some matchups so hard. Yeah, it does. It definitely does. Yeah. Okay. Impetuous Knight. Honestly, like I'm kind of out on Impetuous Knight. It's nice, and it gives you some consistency, but I don't know if I care about the 40 points for it. I could definitely see it being dropped. All right, we'll go back to the second power scroll. I think maybe we just leave the because I see what you're going with. It's maybe not how I would have built the list. I'd go for not worry about the Beastman matchup directly, but maybe it's super important to have it. And I'd go Cackling Blade on this character, MR on this character as is. Honestly, maybe I just go for the Fireball character, and I just play around the edges and play for smaller wins, but that's not what this list is designed to be. I definitely don't think we go for a Standard Bearer on the Mounted Human. 8 is a lot as well. Like, I feel like maybe you go 6. The Peasant Archers can drop to like 12s if we're tweaking the core. Like, if you just want to score as many points as possible. And I'd probably drop the Standard Bearers. I love Standard Bearers, but if we're just going for like as efficient as possible and make it really hard for people to score points out of us, and then 2 more units of Mounted Yeomen, we can go for like 6 with these 2 things, not give them any armor. Oh, maybe it's we're going to be over on points, 33 points over. Okay, so we drop both of those and we just go for like 2 units of 5. You probably need the Musician. 2 units of 5 with musicians. Yeah, that's probably the tweak that I'd go with. So you've got 4 units of scoring Peasant Bowmen, 2 units of scoring Mounted Human. They've got reserve move built in. They should be able to stay safe. Yeah. Alright. I think that's what I'd go with there. Let's go. Alright, sweet. Speaking of Beastmen. Yeah, I mean, if you're here, we can look at your list. Let's have a look at Jacka's list. Reason to build my box of proxy human. Yeah, absolutely. They're so good. Like, they're so good. It's really hard to play without them. Once you've gone to like the 3 cheap units plus loads of skirmishing peasant archers, it's so hard to go back. And I will consistently shout out. I'm pretty sure it was Jack Toll who, I don't want to say came up with it. It's where I saw it first. So if it was an innovation of his, then it's solid. Probably also James Ramsey had a hand in that as well. All right. So, you've decided to build a Wild Herd army that primarily focuses on big monsters. Great Brave Shaman and Brave Shaman together in the group with the Younger Horde that's used for sacrifice for Brave Shaman's Giant Dagger. And Devolve. Well, the Great Brave Shaman debuffs. Okay, let's have a look at this. So the monsters... You've just gone for one of all of them. Okay, I need to remind myself what each of these monsters do. I will say 190 points for T5 4 wounds with heavy armor. I hate this. Is the Breton better? Hold on. The Cockatrice has Swift Stride. The Breton doesn't have Swift Stride. That is rough. The Breton doesn't even have a save. It does have ambush. Okay. Jabba Slythe. I do not like that. And the Cygor doesn't have anything as well. Are there any, like... The problem I have with this sort of style of list is the monsters that are in the Beastmen book that, you know, Warriors of Chaos also pull from are just so bad for their points. Like, if you look at what a Cockatrice brings, for example, so you've got 6 attacks, but with hand weapon, no AP, a single stomp, and you've got a Petrifying Gaze, which is a strength 2 attack, a strength 2 shot, ballistic skill 5's nice. So you're paying 170 points for Fly 10, Swift Stride, Terror, and basically nothing else. This is like... I don't know how many points too many it is, but it is a lot of points too many. The Jabba Slythe is even more expensive, and it has +1 wound, but not anything else. I guess in melee, at least it's got 5 attacks at AP2, which is not bad. That's okay, but like defensively, it's just gonna die so quickly. There's got to be like just one monster in here that doesn't die immediately. But I don't think there is. Like, the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, I guess, would be it realistically. But if you're playing at 2,000 points, you can't even give 2 of them a ward save. You can't take 2 with a ward save. There just isn't one that lives. Well, we're going into this with the clear understanding that this is a lot of points that will die immediately. But if we're building around it, because that is the theme, have we maximized the theme well? Yeah, that's accurate. Horn of the Great Hunt. 35 points. Ambushes come in ±1. Okay, that's fine. Uses Devolve. Okay. You've got it on Dark Magic. I guess the law doesn't actually matter, because you're going to pick Devolve. Blood of the Shadow gave Thomas Spellcraft. Blood of the Shadow gave... Oh, yes, yes, the auto-dispel. I kind of don't feel like... Law of Primal Magic. What have we got for debuffing with Law of Primal Magic? -1 to leadership with the signature spell. That's not bad. Call the Wild. Upgrade to Fear and Terror. So I'd love to see like loads of Razor Gore. Just like individual units of Razor Gore. Because you can cast this on an enemy unit. I think that's very solid. Okay. You never want to run Razor Gore in multiples, because as soon as one dies, they're just going to panic and flee. Because they're loner, they're leadership 6, they're just not going to work that way. I want to see if this is the theme you're going for, you want to put Kralmor in there for sure, because Kralmor has the Grizzly Totem, I think it is. Yeah, so you can debuff leadership even more. You have to get close with it, but he's got that. But then he's also got the Leering Spirit, which just casts Evolve as a bound spell power level 3. So like if you're leaning into the leadership debuffing, having a caster that can bring Lore of Primal Magic themselves and bring Primordial Gloom, and then can also devolve from their totem, I think that is definitely a direction that I'd want to go with. So we start off with Kralmore. Then this character's only devolving. Does that work? Ah! Thank you very much, Behemoth Miniatures. That's very kind of you. That is very kind of you. If you have received a membership, please do thank him in the chat. And also, make sure to post in the needs roll section, and I can apply your roll on Discord. Okay, so Horn of the Great Hunt. What does that even do? What does the Horn of the Great Hunt do? Oh, I've looked at that one already. I'm doubling back. I just forgot what it is. This is the ambush one. Then you got the Beast Lord, which is Fur of Shagu, Pelt of Midnight. Pelt of Midnight is -1 to be shot. Okay. Fur of Shagu is plus armor save against non-magical attacks. I don't see a value to this character ambushing. Wait, Trailblazer's Hallwork. Am I wrong? It gets move through cover and scout. It doesn't get ambush. So I don't see why it's got the Trailblazer's Hallwork on. Because move through cover, I guess. I don't know that you need that though. That's probably fine. Great weapon like so. And if you're going to join it to the unit, you don't need the Fur of Shagu as well, because you're not going to be shot at individually. You're going to be in the unit. It's for move through cover with this group. Yeah, I think it's probably fine without. Like, especially if you're coming in from the board edge, right? Because the move through cover doesn't give it... If he's... is he heavy infantry? So he's heavy infantry, so they have to come in as a unit. So he would slow them down. And then you've gone for a very expensive unit of 9 ambushes. Because they've gone for a 50-point magic banner. I think... Okay. So I think if we're doing this... Just to... Because I think... Like, I get the idea. I think what we need to do is... If we're accepting that we're taking the terror causes... We're leaning into the terror-causing angle of things. So we've gone for Kralmore, who can bring the Devolve, but also has access to Primordial Gloom. Then we've got the second wizard, who can also go for Devolve as they like. I think that is fine. And then we've got this level 1 that's devolving. So we probably want more Devolve. I guess we're kind of just leaning into it in a way that we would lean into Viletide if we do it that way. The Primal Word Banner of Outrage is... I really like it, but I don't think it's actually worth a point. So if we're just going with this unit here, full command, keeping them as they are, lots of Razorgore I think is very good. If you've got the spell that increases fear to terror, Razorgore suddenly become a lot more spicy. More Razorgores then? Yeah, I really like the Razorgore. Like so. What I would say as well is you want to get up close and personal. Is Kralmore? Kralmore's not heavy infantry, is he? Regular infantry. Fantastic. That's good. I'd really like to see... It's a little bit boring, but a level 2 Demonology Steed of Shadows caster with Lore Familiar. Because that way you can put them in some sort of unit and you can fly around and keep up with the rest of the terror causes and actually get forwards to do stuff. Primal War Herd. I don't think this unit does much of anything, I'm afraid. So if we go like heavy on the Razorgore, we've got the Primal War Herd, and then you're going to want something for all of these casters to join. So you can fly around in a big brick and debuff and cast your devolves and do all your stuff there. So we're probably looking at a reasonably sized unit of gore, I would think. Let's say 25. And these can go in skirmish. We can give them full command. But they've got skirmish and open order, so you can choose to put them in open order as the situation requires. And I think if that's the way that I'm playing, I'm probably wondering, what am I worried about? I don't really want to get shot to pieces, so maybe we're looking at Banner of Swirling Wind. That might be the way to do things. The problem is, the Beast Lord is heavy infantry, so it can't join if it's skirmish, so that does cause some issues. But if you wanted to go for like a cheap skirmishing character... Oh, we've spent so many points. Like, one thing we could do here is you could go with, and I don't know that this is worth the points, but there's the Mangelder, which gives your character that holds it terror, and if you deal any unsaved wounds, they suffer a -1 modifier to their leadership until end of turn. So you can stack the likelihood that they run away. I think we're not going to have points to put that in, though, which is probably fine. We can also drop Horn of the Great Hunt, because we probably don't need the reroll on ambush if we've not got that combo in. And we still need... Oh, we're so far over on points. So far over on points. Okay, maybe... Maybe this just becomes like a level 2 wizard for points. Grey Shaman, level 2. The Blood of the Shadowgave is nice, but also I don't know that it's necessary. Like, you're kind of play to a theme. So I think it's worth, because this theme is not like the most efficient way to build. I think you just want to put all your points into making the theme work, as opposed to like really worrying about stopping your opponent. So it's probably just Tome of Spellcraft for the level 2. So that way you can go 2 wizards here. This Bray Shaman and this Bray Shaman. Both of them can cast Devolve. Kralmor has Devolve as well. Kralmor also has the Primal Magic, Primordial Gloom, to lower their leadership. The Dark Magic caster should have 2 spells if possible. Because if you get Word of Pain... no, it's not Word of Pain. What hex is it that gives you minus tough? Is it Demonology that gives you minus leadership? Gathering Darkness. Oh, it's only 12-inch range, so we're not worrying about that. Okay. And then we just go... Oh, you love to have reserve move on this unit champion. Because then if you're flying around with Steed of Shadows, you can fly forwards, do all your shenanigans, and then fly backwards as well. Or fly further forwards. Just be really aggressive. Scourge the Burdened. And then we're 17 points over. And I need to shave some points somewhere. Drop the ambush on the Praeton. I think that's fine. That frees up some points. And then we just go like that. Yeah, I think something like that plays to the theme that you're wanting to go with. It's just a shame that none of the monsters that are available for Wild Herd are particularly strong to build around. I think that's a real shame. Okay, cool. Lovely stuff. Okay. Let's go then with... Let's go with something a little bit different. We've had some Beastmen. We've got more Bretonnians. Let's have a break from Bretonnians for a second. Let's have a look at... Got a couple of Wood Elf lists. Let's look at one of the Wood Elf lists. Beltane Brone's Wood Elf list. So, there was some context to this, but I think I need to go into Discord for it, because it was a little long to fit into my notes. So let's have a look at this one. Okay, so interested in trying a shooting an evasive heavy Wood Elf list for a 2K tournament this summer. Cool. Strategy generally is to avoid dragons, have Plague Rust as necessary, should have 92 shots a turn, plus Ruby Ring, plus Wind Blast. Everything has a champ plus Magician, so if something does get caught, it should occupy that unit for 2 turns. Yeah, I guess elves have decent leadership, so it's probably going to fall back in good order. I don't think the musician is necessarily needed in terms of like the combat, because if like something catches you like a dragon, it's going to do 2 or 3 wounds, and you're just going to lose on combat res anyway. So the musician isn't going to help. But having the musician is generally good because you're more likely to like be able to march when they come for you, and you can try and get out of their range. Okay, so we've gone 2 units with Arcane Bodkins, a unit of 12 with Hagbane Tips. Is that? I don't think the new version of Poison is super worthwhile, because you go from wounding on 6s to wounding on 4s against tough stuff. And you're still AP 0. I know you've got the Plague of Rust, but is it better just to go with more Arcane Bodkins on this unit? Like, Arcane Bodkins are most useful on a unit that doesn't move, so theoretically, this is the unit that I'd want Arcane Bodkins on. And then this unit is Banner of Springtide, Full Command, Reserve Move, Swift Shiver Shards. I don't think Swift Shiver Shards are the option. I think it's Arcane Bodkins. Like, 2 shots, like multiple shots too, so you're -1 to hit, and you're still firing a Strength 3 arrow with no upgrades. Like, I feel like, if anything, Arcane Bodkins would be the way to get value out of them. Like, I don't think there's any value in mixing and matching your arrows there. I think just going for whatever you think is most useful, which I think is probably going to be Arcane Bodkins, is the way to go. More scouts, more Way Watchers, more Way Watchers. Bodkin all the things. Bodkin all the things. I wonder if it's better to drop this unit of Deepwood Scouts and go for another unit of Glade Riders and nominally lose, like, 4 shots, but because you've got reserve moving cavalry, you're still getting, like, a good amount of output from them. Like, you don't go for Arcane Bodkins on these, you probably just go True Flight Arrows because you're going to be moving and shooting. But I think that's better than the 3rd unit of Deepwood Scouts, because you're going to really run out of places to put your infantry, because you've got 4 units of Skirmish Elves, and then you've got 1 unit of Close Order Elves. Yeah, character leadership issue. We'll get to that in a second. But this is like 8 of these is cheaper than the 192 points we cut, so that works out pretty nicely. We could also give them a unit, standard bearer. I don't think there's any standards that are worth. Is it Midsummer's Eve that gives you ignores cover? Yeah, I think on the unit that's moving and it doesn't have quick shot, I'd like to give it quick shot. So that's probably the way to go. Okay. Who have you got as your captain? The Waystalker. Yeah, unfortunately, that is illegal. That is illegal, because you can't have a BSB. Yeah, the version with 2 units and closure and no captain. That's why there's the issue. I see. So, I mean, ignores cover is nice, and Swift Shiver Shards on a captain isn't bad, but I think we just have to, yeah. What do we get out of this? I mean, at least let's give it. We can spend some more points on this. So Resplendent Luminescence. Oh, you've got it on the Way Watchers. Okay. I guess that's fine. I don't think that's a problem. Yeah, okay, sure. So this let's give it aspect of the bear, because getting the +1 to your strength, so your strength 5 with your Swift Shiver Shards, I think is decent. I don't hate that. Then we've got the Power Scroll Elementalism caster here on a horse as well. Also reserve move. I like giving this character the Ascendi's Bane, because it's just a bow, and then you get to make 1 more shot, and that's just fine. Honestly, that's just fine. I never bother using the reroll because you don't want to take the strength 3 hit, but just like it's like, hey, I got a shot at strength at weapon ballistic skill 4. Cool. Could you trim a few Way Watcher models, add another logo if the BSP is wanted still? Could... I mean, yeah. Okay, so let's look at these first. So, these... Okay, you've got a magic weapon, so you can't shoot your Moonfire shot, so we may as well drop that. Spell Luminescence, Arch Lightning Rod. It's only Leadership 8 for the Lightning Rod, but the Lightning Rod is valuable for this list, so I get that. I do get that. Okay. Yeah. So let's assume that we've gone for the Battle Standard Bearer. And then you need another captain, who's the general, who is also realistically going to be on a stag. So many points over. Like, I don't need to make it, like, more expensive, but I feel like if you're taking it, you want to give it at least some value. Is the second unit of Way Watchers actually useful? That would be my question. Hawkeye actually can't use with the Sword of Sorrow, which is what Moonfire shot on the Stalker. But are you ever going to want to try and snipe one wound with the with this Way Stalker? Flame attacks, magical attacks. I guess you could try and finish off a Banshee or something. But I don't know that that's particularly useful. Like, I feel like you could Resplendent Illuminescence, entirely just drop this. You have to drop this. The second captain can take the Arch Lightning Rod. Also Swift Shiver Shards. Like this. But then we've got 200 points to spend, which is a lot, honestly. So that's where the unit of Deepwood Scouts comes back in. The second noble become a lord instead of not worth it. Like, all they're doing is shooting. I don't see much value in making it a lord. It's not like we're getting much use out of most of the stats. It'd be basically just the leadership that you're getting real value out of. Um, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72, plus 4, 74. It's like 75 shots still. I feel like the shot count has dropped. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on this as like I don't know which meta lists it beats is the problem. So like this is the way that I'd tweak it if I was doing it, and I'd probably also go like give them great weapons just in case they need them. I'm not opposed to that. And then we've got a few points left. Really, I think we could go Moonfire shot on there as well if needs be, and then maybe the general goes for like a Charm Shield or something like that. But in terms of what it plays into, so like I don't see how this beats Undead. Obviously, shooting into Undead is just difficult anyway. You can avoid the dragons, try and give them the run around. Some beast packs to get in the way. Yeah, I mean, it's already got a lot of drops, so I guess you don't mind the number of drops. You could definitely tweak around with it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what armies this beats would be my... Like, if you're taking this to a tournament, I'm not sure which armies this is, like, matched up well into. But I will link the version that I've tweaked with anyway, and hopefully that's useful in some ways. Okay. Cool. Let's go to... We've got more Bretonnians here. More Bretonnians. Let's go with... I don't know why that sounded like the Kazoo Kid. Okay, let's go with the Duke's Errantry Crusade. Let's have a look in Discord for the accompanying notes. Is there a good way to build a treeman heavy wood elf list so they're just inherently meh? What do you do if someone puts a dragon in front of them? That's the problem. That I don't think the army has a solution to, I see you've placed a dragon in front of me. Guess I'll just die and you get 200 and however many points. Okay. I've found the wrong list here that I was looking for. I think this one was further down. Just looking in the notes here. Okay. My eyes are completely glazing over, apparently, because I'm struggling to find... There we go. Got 3 events coming up, and I want to get better results with my Bretonnians. Feel better with the list at 2,500, and now difficulties dropping it to 2k. Use LSA at 2.5 for dispelling bonuses, but can't fit her in with double Baron at 2k, and I feel like I need the second Baron. Alright, cool. This is the Duke's list for Old World. Let's see what we're working with. Already you've got the Pegasus Knights with Totem of Wrath, so, like, you know, we're starting off on a high. Errant, Squires. This is a pretty standard core as well. I don't hate those. We'll look at them more in detail in a sec. Then you've got... Yeah, Virtue of Heroism. I don't feel like the Virtue of Heroism is massively, like, super useful. And also, you could just put a Baron in. Not a Baron, a Duke. You could put a Duke in. Any spiders from other people tonight? I'm afraid not, Amy. I'm terribly sorry. Sorry to disappoint. Okay, so I think if I'm looking at Brets, if I'm not playing Exiles, I definitely want to go Duke and a Baron. I think the Duke, just the stats of it are so much better. I know you're not going for the super tanky Royal Peg anymore, but I think it's still worth putting in. Then you've got the Ogre Blade Knightly Temper character. This is good. This just makes sense. Got a Paladin with the Errantry Banner for +1 strength. I think this is overkill, honestly. I think you should just kind of kill the things that you touch without too much issue. Then you've got Spell Eater Axe, Charm Shield, Impetuous Knight. This is fine. Like, this is a cheaper setup, but if you're going with 3 characters in the Peg Death Star, the Paladin's probably not make it into combat anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter too much whether it has a Lance or a Spell Eater Axe, so you can save some points there. I think we should change that to Shalons. Realistically. Also, you probably don't need Charm Shields, right? Your Errantry Crusade, so you've got the Ward Save. Yeah, I think that's not necessary. The Heroism... Hey, Scott, how you doing? The Heroism Baron is a Duke at 2,500. Okay, so I don't think you need Double Damsel. I don't think Double Damsel adds much to the list. I think having some level of Dispel in the list is good, and we'll come back to that in a second, but I think what you'll get more use out of is... This Baron's great. Fantastic, love it, 10 out of 10. Go for the Duke. Barded Peg, Shield. You don't even need to give it a Virtue. That's the fun thing. It's still really cheap. And you just go Cackling Blade. And at 272, you've got, because of Totem of Wrath, like an average of 8.5 attacks, weapon skill 7. You can very comfortably put a Paymaster's Coin in there as well. I actually think in this version of the list it probably works nicely. You're going to be hitting on 3s or 2s most of the time, re-rolling your hits if you need to, massive amounts of hits, your strength 6 AP2 on the charge. Like, that's just going to blend. Thoughts on the best factions using square-based comp and Renegades 1.5? That's a good question. I might have to wait until all of them are out, and then that's probably a topic to discuss on its own. What we can do as well is, because we don't need... Oh, you've got Impetuous Knight already. Cool. Yeah. I was going to say you could put Impetuous Knight on the Duke. Yeah. So, like, these characters are very good. And then I think you could very comfortably go for, like, a Prophetess, a level 3 wizard, Bretonnian Warhorse. Wait, how much is LSA? She is 225. Okay. So if you want LSA for the Dispel ability, she does fit in here. Like, I think this is a more compelling suite of characters. I know you've only got one unit then with the magical attacks, but I don't really think that's a major issue. Yeah. We are 6 points over, which is a problem. You haven't put a musician on here, have you? Shame. That would have fixed things nice and easily. You're running the heroism character on their own. Putting the Duke in the pegs does mean they lose the +1 charge range from Military Crusades because the Duke can't take Crusade as well. That is true. That is true. But on the flip side, with Impetuous Knight, you still have a charge range of 22 inches, like declarable. And all of the other models still get the +1 to the charge roll. It's just him that doesn't get it, right? So, I don't know. I'm not sure that's super important. One with the heroism character is it just doesn't kill things on average. If you're running it at Barded Pegasus, it will survive for one, maybe you'll get a second round of combat. But, like, especially if it's a Baron, you're going in, you've got 4 wounds at T5. It is T5, right? Or is it T4? Yeah. 4 wounds at T4 with a 3-up armor save. It just dies into, like... The reason the Duke build worked with the heroism is because it was tanky enough to survive for, like, 3 rounds of combat or something. And then mathematically, by that point, you were unlucky if you hadn't Killing Blowed it. But the Baron, especially with the lower amount of points... The Paymaster's Coin, like, rerolling hits is nice, but you need rerolling wounds if you want to fish for it. So I'm really out on heroism. I don't think it's the way to go, especially now that Cackling Blade exists. You could also, like, drop something here and go Green Knight. You could go Magic Light and drop, like, the Impetuous Knight and Lady Elise and maybe fit in the Green Knight there. That, I would say, might be more appealing. But obviously we're in a very magic-heavy meta, so that would be a problem. But yeah, like, the core looks fine. I don't hate the core. I'm probably not... Oh no, Scout's good because you're Errantry Crusade, so you're giving up the +1 to go. You're giving up the roll to go first. Spelly tracks down to single low, you really need MR2. If you're going MR at all, you really need MR2. MR1 just isn't going to cut it. It might just be Paymaster's Coin. Like, Paymaster's Coin is a luxury. It would be lovely to have. It would be lovely to have, but it's kind of just like, we've got enough attacks that it's kind of whatever. Would like Syrian's Locket, though. Actually, Syrian's Locket feels really good on this. Is there any way that we can shave the 6 points somewhere? I don't think there is. I think we just have to... leave it. I think... Like, you could tweak around with it a little bit and try and get Syrian's Locket in there, and if you can, that feels incredible. But if you can't, I still think this is the character build that I'd go with. And then, you know, what are we talking here? One of them goes up to 10 models, one of them stays at 9, something like that. But yeah, this is how I'd build EC, because I think I have stated multiple times that I'm not a fan of LSA. And that's purely because there's nowhere for her to go. It's not that I don't think she's good. So if we're playing Errantry Crusade, suddenly there's somewhere for her to go. And I think it would be a shame not to fit her in, because that's where a lot of, in my mind, the anti-magic power would come from in the list. But yeah. What events have you got coming up to? I haven't really got anything booked in, so I don't know that I will bump into you necessarily. But yeah. Give me a shout if you're ever in my neck of the woods. Okay. We have another Monster Mash list that's built around Terror. And we're gonna... you're welcome, Scott. We're gonna look at Strife's Terror Bombing Warriors of Chaos list. So here's the context. The message starts, can we gaslight ourselves into thinking a Terror Bombing Warriors of Chaos Monster Mash is good? I don't know that we can. So that's not a great start. Why don't Manticores grant extra toughness? That is rough. Shall I just fire up the 3D printer, or am I in fact stupido? Just pretend that undead don't exist. Like, these lists are, if we're not looking at them through the competitive lens, and if we're not thinking about the fact, like, the opportunity cost of just playing, like, objectively a better list, we can still look at them, and if you think it's going to be fun to play, and if you're 3D printing the monsters, hell yeah. So, like, if we look at that through that lens, that there is merit to it, perhaps. My argument would be, if you want a Terror Bomb, you could just run 3 Dragon Warrior of Chaos. And sure, you're not doing like the Doom Totem leadership shenanigans, but you are just running 3 dragons. And that might just be better. And when I say might, to be clear, it definitely is better. However, let's look at it in the context of what you're trying to do. I really hate that you've gone double Manticore. That makes me feel really sad inside, because they're T4, and they are just going to die. God, they're going to die. I know you can at least go triple save, but, like, they're so squishy. 7 wounds at T4 it's such a step down from a Chaos Dragon. Anyway, so the core, you've just gone cheap and cheerful. 3 units of 15. I don't know that I love 3 units of 15. Like, I think if we're doing it, I like 1 unit that's, like, a bit beefier. So maybe, like, 20 if we're going for a standard bearer. Light armor shields, no other upgrades, something like that. I think that's good. And then I think I'd go Marauder Horseman. I think if you're trying to get value out of... I don't feel like 3 units of 15 Marauders is going to give you the success you're looking for. So, like, 2 units of Skirmish and Cav Spear, Marauder Horseman, Musicians. Very cheap and cheerful, 84 points each, something like that. Warhounds, we can just go for 5 Warhounds, give them Vanguard, job's a good one. And then we've still got 100 points left, and that's where we go, what the hell do we do with the last 100 points? I would be tempted to maybe just go for bulk up the Marauders, give them like a... make it a unit that your opponent is going to struggle to deal with. Something like this. We'll have to play around with points. I really don't want to get rid of the Musician on this unit. Maybe give it a Charm Shield or something like that, just to get him up to... Oh, Brazen Collar. Magic Resist on this unit is probably pretty important. 1 point missing, of course it is, and then a Charm Shield. Okay, something like that. So we've got the scoring unit Marauders, and we've got a couple of cheap units of Marauder Horsemen, then a unit of Warhounds. I like this core more. The Chimeras, you've given them Fiend Tails because the output is very, very bad. In that they have 6 attacks again, but it's hand weapons. I don't understand why this is ever written. Like, this is just shit. Like, who put this to paper and thought, oh, people might want to play this? I understand that they changed how the edition works, but I think at its core, this is a fun... And I don't rag on Games Workshop much. In fact, I defend them probably more than I should. But this is such a fundamental fuck-up of, like, I don't understand how my game works. To print something with fucking 6 attacks and hand weapons as a 200-point monster. Like, that's just not... Like, how do you get there? How does this fucking exist? I don't get annoyed about this most of the time, because I just pretend that all of the shit monsters don't exist, because in my head they don't, because they're unplayable. But, like, this is so bad. It's so expensive. We've talked about the points before. You know, you're like baseline 180 points with T5 4 wounds and a heavy armor save. You can pay 15 points for regen, and I'm happy to do that. That does make the unit much more palatable. You can buy a Fiend Tail to make some additional attacks with that are not terrible. But, like, how are monsters printed with hand weapons? Like, how have they gone from being, oh, this model's strength 6, so it's AP3, to just, in the current world, hey, guess you're playing with AP0 attacks. It's a fuck up, and it's half the reason they're shit. But anyway. Drives me nuts. Because I love monsters. I want to do stupid monster mash. It would make me very happy. Anyway. Fuck chimeras. All my homies hate chimeras. But we've got 3 of them. So that's fine. There's no monsters that would do it better that you can spam, I don't think. I think Chimera is like the best version of the monster in this list. Yeah. There's not a lot of options for Warriors of Chaos. Anyway, so then to support that, we've got a Manticore riding Shadowlands, Tome of Spellcraft, Crown of Everlasting Conquest, Spell Familiar, Double Favor of the Gods. Okay, so we've got the wizard doing things. How can we debuff their leadership? Because if we look at the Exalted Champion first, we've got the Doom Totem. Doom Totem does what it says on the tin, and it's -1 leadership if enemy units can see it. Now, remember, there are, like, vision arcs, but that's still pretty okay. Like, if you're in combat with someone with this, they're -2 leadership because you're a Terra Causa from the Manticore, and also -1 for Doom Totem. So that makes sense. That just does a thing. Dark Majesty, an additional -1 in command range. Okay, so this can't be the BSB. Okay. I feel like you want the command range to be on the general. So can this one? Okay, we're gonna give this one the Gift of Chaos, Dark Majesty. Sure. And we're gonna take it off here. The reason being, because this is the BSB, it can't be the general. This is the general, so it's got an 18-inch bubble of leadership because it is a large target. I'm pretty sure Manticore is a large target. I'll be very surprised if it's not. It's not even a large target, it's monstrous creature. Whatever. No, it is a large target that does it. It's late and I'm getting myself confused because I'm annoyed at chimeras. Anyway, we've made it so this is an 18-inch bubble of -1 to leadership, and then this one is a -1 leadership if you can see it. So we're doing pretty okay on the leadership debuffing. Then the law he's gone for is Shadowlands, and also Undivided. It's Undivided? Is their spell minus leadership? No, it's the bad minus movement one. Okay. And then there's nothing here that's leadership debuffing. Okay. Shadowlands. Blackened Bolts makes you take a panic test. Works with the leadership debuffing. Veil of Gloom is a ward save. That's fine. Cool. -1 to leadership. 18-inch hex. Okay, so it's vitally important that we get the spells that we want. So we've got a spell familiar and we're level 4. Okay, that's probably good enough. I was thinking Lore Familiar, but actually Tome of Spellcraft to reroll your casting is pretty valid. I don't hate that. Crown of Everlasting Conquest for the regen, so you don't just immediately fall over. I feel like there wasn't a lot of tweaking to do with the characters, at least. Like, the characters made sense. The core, obviously, I wanted to play around with, and then these are what it's built around. But, yeah. Does it not have a weapon? You haven't even given the bloody Exalted Champion a weapon? God damn it, man. There we go. Alright, now we're kind of fucked on... Oh, we'll just take a Favor of the Gods off the Sorcerer. Like, you want to on all your characters that are using them, but, like, rolling on the Sorcerer is way less important. Honestly, you kind of want +1 toughness. Like, if you could just every roll slam a 3 to get +1 toughness on these characters, so you're running around at T5, yeah, that'll do it. But I think this is what we're looking at. There we go. Okay. Cool. And this was Stripes list. Boom. Okay, where were we up to? Whose had we looked at so far? So we've just done Erectune Crusades, we've done Brets into more Terror Bombing Warriors of Chaos, we've got Wood Elves, we've got Brets, we've got Cathay, we've got Wild Herd left. Let's have a look at the Cathay. Let's have a palette cleanser. So this is Ptolemy's Cathay list, 2,200 points. Jade Fleet list got comped out of existence for an upcoming 2,200 point event. Looking to put Grand Army Cathay into play, but I don't want to go heavy shooting. The purpose of this list is to make ogres work as a combat block. I have models I'm excited to build. I'm flexible on the rest. So this is the monthly or bi-monthly Ptolemy list where I'll look at it and go, man, this list would be better without the bulls, the ogres. But that's the thing you want in, so we're going to leave them in. This is the pet unit that it's built around. Okay. So. What do we got? So, Double Lord, single Shigangan General. Big unit of Jade Warriors with the Jade Banner. That's pretty standard. And then Peasant Levy Archers with Skirmish. Great. These are great. And then the unit with Ambush. Also great. Love that. Love all of this here. This is fantastic. Do we want unit champions? Probably not, no. Is Ogres or Tigers, which is very fun. That is very fun, to be fair. But we're 551, so we're basically at cap for core. Then we've got one cannon. I don't like single cannons. I'd love to see two. Like, if you're running low on cannons, two I think is the floor. Sorry, my light's flickering because I'm moving it. There we go. Double Sky Lanterns make sense. Badland Ogre Bulls, which is equipped with no unit champion. I guess for Monstrous Infantry, not having a unit champion makes sense. Heavy armor, great weapon, sure. So they're as good as they're going to get. They're weapon skill 4 Iron Guts, which weapon skill 3 feels really bad on Iron Guts, so this is a nice upgrade, to be entirely fair. How do we fit another cannon in? It's 165. I'm wondering if we need 6 of them, but I feel like I don't want to touch this unit at all, because this is the pet unit that you wanted it for. So maybe we go 1 balloon, double cannon. That feels probably better. But that's also too many points. Okay. So we've got the level 3 heavy armor, illusion, law for any sort of reason. People go for the sort of reason. Like, are we... Do we feel like we need the killing blow? Is that better than the Jade Blade? I guess it's just personal preference more than anything else. But I am a big fan of the Jade Blade, and having the General be one that is hard to kill, because they are very squishy. But you've got, even if you're going sort of reason, I definitely would say make the one that isn't Monkey King's Wisdom the one that's the General, because this one is, yeah. You've gone for Vermilion Quills, which is reroll hit and wound rolls. You're strength 10, so I don't think you need to reroll hit wound rolls, and you don't need to reroll hit rolls if you get the spell off. So I feel like, and I understand that magic resist is a problem, but is it not better to just go for the Scrolls of Wei Jin, get that 5th spell, and be more likely to get Spectral Doppelganger? That would be my approach. And I'd also be tempted to change this over for the Jade Blade, but if you prefer the sort of reason, like, it's not actively bad to play, so I can see it. Then we've got the single General with Law of Yang, Ring of Jet. Yeah, this is your flexible caster or support piece one. I like seeing 2 of them. I'd like to see another one here with the Ruby Ring of Ruin, just flying around together, giving each other the +1 to cast if needed, and throwing out 4 magic missiles a turn. But we've got to make compromises in points-wise. Speaking of, actually, you know what? I almost wonder if it's not worth having the cannon. I guess you can shoot it twice. You can shoot it twice once per game. And 2 cannonballs is fine. But, like, if you just don't have points... If you don't have points on the table that are easy for people to catch in War Machines, is it not better just to have something that has 2 more magic missiles? Is that not better? And then you've got the Sky Lanterns, which are mobile shooting. Maybe that's the way to go, because, like, these peasants are actually surprisingly hard to get points out of, because they're skirmish and they can just run away, / if you catch them, you get 50 points for them. And then you've got the Jade Warriors. Ogre Loaders aren't for extra shots, they're for saving misfires. I disagree. I think Ogre Loaders are for taking 3 cannons and killing your opponent's big thing turn 1 and then just winning the game. That's been my experience with them, and I fucking hate them. I do not think you should ever be able to fire a piece of artillery twice. That I feel like it fundamentally breaks the rules of the game. But like, Cathay are in a more acceptable state now, so I don't want to just rag on them endlessly. But fuck, I hate it so much. Yeah. Anyway, like, I actually think let's just go 2 of these and then change this over to Ruby Ring. Take that off. Ruby Ring. If points don't fit here, I'm going to be very sad. 10 points over, but we fit in here. Oof. Okay, 10 points over is a problem, because there's not really anywhere to shave it. Any Cogfort lists, yeah. Every list is a Cogfort list if you're brave enough. Someone was telling me they reckon they're going to be like 140 quid, which is wild. Because I was like still idly toying and be like, what if I just get one and try and make it into something? Because I think they're so dumb, and so they're like, it's quintessential like 2000s Warhammer to me. Something's come out, I've looked at it, I'm like, that's fucking stupid. I love it. And fantasy, I think, in my mind, is best when it's not taking itself super seriously. Yes, it's like high fantasy, but there's also just like, here's some wacky stuff. Here's some squigs. You know, I think it's they're so goofy you love them. Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly what I look at them and I'm like, it's kind of cool though. It's cool because it's stupid. It's a house that walks. I can believe the Empire coming up with a house that walks. Like, they made a steam tank, and while yes, that's analogous to like real world vehicle tanks, there's magic in Empire. They're going to be balloon price plus. Yeah, balloon prices are 95 quid, I think, and I think these are going to be more. You want to make one a soul grinder? I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. Probably one of the few models that you could, like, it probably could fit on a 100 by 150 mil base. I don't know if it'll fit on anything else without some serious work, some real tactical rockage. I think the 95, unless I'm incorrect. Hold on. I've upset the Americans. I'm going to just double check before I make sure that I'm correct. They did put the prices up at one point as well, so maybe that was pre-prices. Sky Lantern. Could you type in the box, please? Sky Lanterns are £98, yeah. Being upset is the Americans' baseline. They got a lot to be upset at the moment. Let's have a look at it in dollary dues. 165. That's a bit of a markup. So that's £125 in current conversion rates. I assume it's to do with tariffs. So I feel like all of your prices probably just went up a bit to account for that. And a Ragnarok or a Bone Grinder? I could see that. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. So I almost got distracted. I started talking about Warhammer again. My bad. Cool. Yeah, I actually really like doubling down on just the mobile shooting instead of having anything that you can catch. I think that is maybe a solid way to play. Where are we getting these 7 points from? Or these 10 points from? That's the problem. So this character cannot go any cheaper. That's as cheap as it goes. This character can't go any cheaper. The Jade Blade is more expensive, so I can't even argue to swap over there. This is as cheap as it goes. This is as cheap as it goes. Okay. We can drop the Musician, but that doesn't help because we still need to drop 4 points. What if, and this is going to sound dumb, what if we drop the Musician and one Great Weapon? And there's one model that just doesn't have a weapon because they're Motley Crue. So you just you have one that doesn't do anything. I think you can kill that one first, because it'll have the same armor save. Let me just double check. Casual removal. Divided as equally as possible between the different models in the unit. So you could just take the one model that doesn't have a weapon first. This is jank, and I don't like being like, hey, here's my 6 ogres and one of them has no great weapon. But I think that's the only way that I can squeeze it in without like really hammering into this unit, which I want to avoid doing. So yeah, that's what we're going to go with. And I think that is actually pretty okay. Tommy. Okay, great stuff. Great stuff. Where are we up to? We've got Wood Elves, we've got Bretonnian Exiles, and we've got one more Wild Herd list. Let's go... Okay, we're gonna... I think this Wood Elf list might upset me. Because the text is, it's Jesse McMillan's 2.4k square-based comp Wood Elves. Finally able to make a competitive event again. Hell yeah, congratulations. Hope you're looking forward to it. Strongly attached to using my freshly painted Warhawks and Lord, as well as the Wildwood Rangers with the Spillweaver. Big fan of War Dancers. The problem that is that if you're playing a less powerful faction, you have less scope to play the stuff that is less good. That's... You're gonna struggle more, like already just playing Wood Elves. And if you then take stuff that is like less effective, you're going to have less success with it. And that might not matter to you. And if that is the case, that's fine. But what I would say is you're talking about going to a competitive event and then you're saying, I want to use these units that I personally deem to be uncompetitive. And that's like a difficult one to resolve. I don't know... how, like, we'll look at the list, but like you've got 307 points and then 233 points in Warhawk Riders, so that's about or just under a quarter of your points in something that's like very squishy and doesn't actually hit that hard. And that is a problem because I don't know how to make that work competitively. It's the problem that I have with the fixed my list format, in that I maybe should ask people to give more standardized information, but normally you can sort of tease it out and you can work out what they're going with. But if someone wants to play a list and optimize around a theme, I think that's super cool and I love that and I'm really here for it. If you're not building a list with the intent of being like, I have to win into the stuff that's really good, maybe you play like Kitchen Table Warhammer, you play at the local gaming club, you play with friends, you're like, this is a theme that I'm really excited to maximize around. We all play at a similar level. I think that's fantastic. But then if you come to me and you say, I want to play a competitive event, but also I want to use these things, that's where that's where the difficulty comes in. Because I don't know, first of all, I don't really know how we make a great competitive Wood Elf list. Like, I'm a little bit out on Wood Elves at the moment. I'm yet to nail a vibe that I love with them. But also, if you're spending a quarter of your points on T4 models with no armor save and 2 wounds, where they're 45 points a model, but then they also don't have like any combat punch, I don't know how to resolve the two things there. Yeah. So I don't really know what to do with this. Because the Warhawk, like, so the shooting combo is interesting. Because you go for Aspect to the Bear to give them +1 strength and toughness, getting them up to strength 5. Allende's Bane. Oh, I thought it was the other bow. So at least, like, this character's relatively tanky. Because they've got Helm of the Hunt for +1 armor save. They've got a Shield's lighter armor. So they're a 4-up armor save. That's... And they've got a 5-up ward. And then the great weapon as well. I don't know that I'd bother putting Resplendent Luminescence and Ascendi's Bane on this character, because like re-rolling the hit roll is not super important in my mind. So probably just drop Ascendi's Bane. I don't think it needs to be on this character. And it also frees it up to put it on a wizard, which I think is a genuinely great place to put it. Although maybe not this wizard, because it's looking to sit with the Wildwood Rangers. Okay. the captain is shooting great weapon channel. So this is, yeah, okay. So this is the stag that's trying to like hunt down war machines and stuff. Obviously, this is, I think, basically the build I played, if not exactly the build that I played. I think it's good. It didn't have a great run out when I played it at the event I went to, but that's okay. It just didn't really have the matchups that it was looking for. Shadow Dancer, level 1, Orion's Favor Illusion. Like, I can see this. This is, you go Illusion to get for Glittering Robes. You got Orion's Favor to, wait, hold on. That's the rerolls, isn't it, Orion's Favor? It's not the Magic Resist. Yeah, reroll, failed hit, and wound rolls. I think that's solid. It's a relatively punchy character. You can get plus attacks or whatever. You know, you've got the Spear Clear, so you've got like a relatively punchy, cheap character that's also providing -1 to be hit for the Way Watchers, War Dancers. So if you're running them, I think this is the way to do it. Something I've considered with this character, because you can give them plus AP very easily. Like, maybe Potion of Strength on this character is kind of fun. Because suddenly, you know, you start with 2 attacks, your extra attacks with the additional hand weapon for 3, then you've got Furious Charge for 4. So you've got 4 attacks and weapon skill 6. And with the dancers, you can give them AP2. So you could be the Strength 3 AP2, but if you drink the Potion of Strength, you go up to Strength 5 AP2, and I think that's just enough to be, like, genuinely interesting. If you're running this combo already, Potion of Strength on the unit champion, I think, is quite solid. I think that is decent. So that's fine there. And then Eagles have fallen out of vogue a little bit, because I think they lose combat into, like, the, well, not because, but they struggle into certain targets. They have always been War Machine hunters, but I feel like they don't hunt War Machines super well anymore. I feel like they lose combat to like the Ogre Loader character, Ogre Loader Cathay cannons. Yeah. So in terms of changes, if I'm not talking about the Warhawk section of it, because I don't really know what I would do with that. I think this captain is a good build. I think the Battle Magic Lore Familiar Spellweaver to go with an infantry brick makes a lot of sense. Befuddlement of Mischiefs is -1 initiative and weapon skill. Yeah, great stuff. So debuffing the unit that you're in base-to-base contact with is always nice. Obviously going with the Wildwood Rangers with the Magic Resist from Maria's Favor, and then the Monster Hunter Tapestry full command. I was really out of these for quite a while, but I've seen them do reasonably well. Obviously, talked to some Wood Elf players who've used them, so fair play. You know, I can see the value in them, and yeah, they're okay. They're a little bit sad in that they only get the extra attacks. Sorry, they only get the multiple wounds if they're in base to base with the Terror Causer, or the Fear Causer. They would be a lot better, in my mind, if they just always got the multiple wounds, because then if you ever do have the misfortune of ending up in combat with a dragon, which I guess is like something you want to hunt down, you would do a lot better, and also the rolling would be a lot faster if all of your attacks had multiple wounds, and I don't think it makes them OP at all. Warhunters, I don't know that 20 Glade Guard, like, I'm not sold on the 20 Glade Guard. I feel like you're better off going for a smaller unit, and then also going for more like mobile shooting for like the second unit of Glade Riders. If you're worried about the output, because this unit's gone for like True Flight Arrows, which I do like, you can go for a second unit and give them the Standard Bearer, and you can go for the Banner of Banner of Springtide, which gives them Quick Shot. And I think it's not super important to have on this unit, because I assume you're not going 20 wide, because that would be ludicrous. You could go 10 wide and be on a hill, but then the Quick Shot feels kind of whatever. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, I'm not sold on the big brick of shooting Glade Guard. People have mentioned it. I don't see the utility of it personally, and I think ever since the nerf to shooting at large targets, you can't even go like Hagbane tips and just shoot as many shots into a dragon as possible. So I think it's lost value there. But yeah, I'd probably change it so it's like 2 units of Glade Riders, a small unit of Glade Guard, and the Deepwood Scouts, who are very solid there. Yeah, I think what I will do is I will just link the timestamp to Jesse. When did we start talking about it? Roughly 1 hour 50 mins in. So I think the conversation is more useful than like any tweaks that I could realistically make to the list, I think. But yeah, so that was some Wood Elves. We'll look at Peter's Bretonnian Exiles. More Border Prince tweaks now the Royal Pegasus is dead, but inspired to convert a hippogriff now. I have seen some people talking about hippogriffs. I think they're interesting because they're like relatively tanky. Okay, so the list is double cannons, always a good start. A low number of Pegasus Knights, although I guess they're not having one of the Barons in. And then Squires with Scout. I don't think Scout is good for Exiles because you're actively rolling off to go see who goes first. So I would recommend not giving up your +1 and try and have a smaller number of units than your opponent. I think that's more important. Yeoman Guard, full unit with the War Banner. I wouldn't pay for the pole arms. Just go with halberds because you're probably just going to use hand weapons and shields anyway. You're almost never going to use the halberds or the spears realistically, so you can save some nice points there. On a similar vein, I would not pay for the Blessed Triptych as well, because people, like, this is the thing that provides the stubborn. They can just attack the Grail Monk character unit champion, so it's probably just going to die anyway. So I think it's probably not worth the 25 points personally. That would be my take on the matter. The Sergeant at Arms also provides what is it? Doesn't it have some rule that makes them give ground to fall back on order? Oh, okay, so the combination you're looking to do is like a pseudo shield wall. I think, like, I see what you're going with. I think the character points are too valuable to want to really go heavy into buffing up the Yeoman Guard. Okay, because we definitely want to put more points into Pegasus Knights, so we definitely want to have more stuff there. But, okay, so we've got the Lore Familiar Power Scroll Demonology Wizard. Okay, so you're going to, like, go with the Knights of the Realm on foot and get them up the board and be really aggressive with them. I can get behind that, I think. That's fun. I think the way that I would do it, though, Banner of the Zealous Knight makes them charge further. It gives them Vanguard. I wouldn't go with Zealous Knight. I would go with Monster Hunter Tapestry. Because this sort of unit, you're just going to park in front of your opponent and try and tank them with hand weapons and shields. And you haven't got a ward save as well to start off with. So it's a little bit risky to do so. So I think you want to Steed of Shadows this unit up the board. Have the Monster Hunter Tapestry so they can't just come in and wreck you. But then try and pick a fight that you know you can win. And then you can get the ward save to start off with. I think that's a good way to go and catch him on the overrun. I am not sold that you need the Knights of the Realm here. I think we can drop them, and then you've got, realistically, by going here, more focused core. I'd probably not go for the... If you're going for like a big brick of Knights of the Realm, I'd probably drop the Yeoman Guard and go for a load of Peasant Archers, but I don't want to change it too much because it's probably working within models that you've got in your collection. So I'd love a third scoring unit. Mounted Yeoman, absolutely incredible as well. But if we're working with what we've got on the list, without changing it too much, we'd go like that. We definitely want to go for more Pegasus Knights here as well. And I'd really, really recommend... you don't need a Musician because you fly, so you don't ever need to march test, and your combat shouldn't be close enough that you need a Musician. Banner Echelons is nice, but Totem of Wrath really just turbocharges this unit. It makes it into a unit that's actually going to go out and kill some stuff. Then we've got keeping the Hippogriff. Want to go with, make sure you've got the Exile's Vow. Hippogriff Barding, Frontier Axe, Grommel Greathelm. Oh, okay, so you haven't gone for the Barding because you've gone for the Grommel Greathelm. Oh, no, that's fine. Because you drop the shield, and that way you're still a 3-up save in combat. Okay, that works. So you're moderately tanky. Like, you're a moderately tanky monstrous creature, because you've got 6 wounds, T5 with a 3-up save. You don't start with a ward save, which does worry me. Like, I feel like Exiles maybe isn't the place for Barons. Sorry, for Hippogriffs. But I don't want to take it out, because you're if you're keen to play it, like, you can make it work. Also, you don't want the questing power in there. You kind of just clicked all the options and like, I want this one and this one. So you get the Exiles vow there. Cool. And then you've got a Paladin who is BSB on foot, Exiles vow, shield, Falconhorn. Okay. I think if you want to go for a foot BSB with the Knights of the Realm on foot, which I think can work pretty well, Virtue of the Impetuous Knight, increase their charge range to 13-inch declarable. Just means that because it's a foot unit, you're more likely to actually get something off. You probably want to give them a banner as well, I would think. I'm not sure what I'd go with. Maybe not Shalons for this unit, because maybe just Banner of Swirling Wind. Like, I'm not opposed to just making this unit a little bit more durable. I'd love to give him some magic resist as well. I think, like, I understand why people like Falconhorn. I think it's lost a lot of utility unless you're building specifically for it. So I think something like the Paladin with, like, double Obsidian Lodestone, so that you're not getting ruined by enemy spells, and then, like, a great weapon. Or Morningstar if you want to make sure you don't just fall over. Yeah, that way you can keep the... Okay, I don't mind that. Oh, you had it on a warhorse. Oh, okay, we did remove the warhorse. I'd say have it on foot. With the Knights of the Realm. Honestly, I'm not 100% sold that it needs to exist in that format, but I think, yeah, I think a foot BSB with the Knights of the Realm will work pretty well. And then you've got double wizards. You've got Lord Familiar Power Scroll, Demonology. Oh yeah, we've talked about this one already. And then you've got the Damsel with the Power Scroll, Flamestrike Wand, Battle Magic. I don't hate this. I think it's unfocused. I assume you're probably looking to swap into Lore of the Lady. The Lady's Gift gives something a regen save. That would be my expectation. But I think we can probably drop that to free up points and then add a Baron that's going to go with the Pegasus Knights. So you've got some actual combat power. That would be my recommendation. So like a Cackling Blade, Charmed Shield character. And then also, in fact, instead of Charmed Shield, you can give this character, shout out to Vincent, captain of Team Netherlands, who put me on this tech. Give them the Virtue of Purity, 30 points, gives you a 5 at ward save. You don't have to pray or anything like that. Just go for a regular shield. And yeah, this is a really punchy character that's relatively cheap, and it comes in at the list comes in at 19.99. It's almost like it was planned. It wasn't, but it was yeah. So that would be how I'd tweak that list. If you wanted to make the Hippogriff work, I think the Hippogriff is more exciting in the other ways to play Bretonnians, because the ward save is very important. Maybe you start with the ward save on there. No, you need the, like, some sort of the virtue. Pardon me. But like the unbreakable virtue, the not that one. Stoicism? Penitent? Yeah, Virtue of Penitent. You can go for an unbreakable Hippogriff and make them relatively tanky. Like, that is the build that I've seen people do with Hippogriffs, and then you can just tie stuff up. And I think that has some utility, but you are still pretty squishy, so you got to pick your fights, which means I like it a lot less than like an Iron Demon or Steam Tank, just like sitting there and sitting in the middle. But yeah, something like that would be the way that I would go. And then finally, we've got Jorkaif's Wild Herd, which is Wild Herd to deal with Cathay, Vampire Counts, and Khemri, mostly to work in a team with Double Dragon, no Mages, Chaos, Gunline, Night Goblins, and Bretonnia. So, this is looking like a fairly standard Valtide list. Okay. Black Maul, Full Plate Chaos, Armor, Nultize Luskin. Cool. Beast Lord just makes sense. That's the build you go for. Monster Hunter Tapestry, Heavy Armor, Pelt of the Dark Young, Charmed Shield, Pelt of Midnight. This is Magic Resist. This is Minus to be Shot. This is a Ward Save. Cool. That's great. Level 2 Demonology, Lore Familiar Caster. Fantastic. That's your Steed of Shadows. Hagtree Fetish, Chalice of Dark Rain, Lore of Primal Magic. Yeah, great stuff. I'd love to get level 4 in there if you can, but I don't think you can. Then we've got 2 level 1s. Okay, yeah, fantastic. This plays well. In teams, you don't have to go Primal Magic. But this plays well into Orcs and Goblins. Like, they cannot put their Fanatics out anywhere if you just put down, like, 1 or 2... I've forgotten the name of it. The Primordial Glooms. Because it's a 6-inch 6-inch around the template of Dangerous Terrain. Which, given that it's on a 1.5 mil... radius, not radius, yeah, radius. It's what, a 15-inch circle? That's right, 7.5 each way. Yeah, a 15-inch circle that you can stop them from putting down Fanatics. Obviously, they can dispel it, but it's on a 9, so I think it's a really good spell. And I think, honestly, I like the character choices. There's so many things that you can do, but this has got magic resist on the brick. It's got minus to be shot. It's got -1 to be hit. And it's turning off enemy war machine shooting and ballistic skill shooting. So I think it's kind of ticking all of the boxes for just like a quite generic go forwards and do your thing list. I'd also love to see, like, the thing that it's missing, because there's the tech pieces of like the chalice in there. I'd love to see this with the reroll spells item, the not the Staff of Quietude, the other one, Tome of Spell crafting. And I'd also love to see a 4th level of casting on this wizard, but it's, you know, at 1,000 points, Wild Herd has to make some cuts to fit 4 wizards in, sorry. Yeah, cool. Then we've got a Brick of Gore. This is a little bit small, I would say. I'd like it to be a bit bigger. You find that you'll start to lose models pretty quickly. The Gore banner. Where's the Gore banner? Okay, you have to take a leadership to just test to charge it. I don't think that is where I would go. If I'm looking for a magic banner, we've already got the Monster Hunter Tapestry on there. I'd be looking at, realistically, the Beast banner, so we can get in if you want to make the charge roll in. Or, I mean, that's kind of it. The Vitriolic Totem is the other one that people go with, because you go quite wide and you get lots of attacks with it. So let's go with that for now, because that's just something that's, like, generically good, and it definitely works. Primal Warherd, given them ambush, I think that's a solid shout. I like having them on the board, holding my Herdstone, but I think this works as well. Ungor... Sure. Razor-Gore. I think I would drop... Like, Razor-Gore are nice. 3 is probably more than you need. So if we drop down to 3, that adds a chunk more gore. Means you can go a little bit wider with them and not feel like you're losing anything. Then you've got Herdstone and some Harpies. And that's just good. That just... Yeah. This is just a list that works, I think. I don't think there's a huge amount of changes that need to be made for that one. So... there we go. Let's send that one through, and it looks good to me. Also, Jay said, "Would you change Motley Crue in 2nd edition?" Yes. I think it's a stupid rule. There needs to be some way of making things work, but as it stands, you're like, "Oh, I'll go half my unit with great weapons, half my unit with shields, and now I've got a 3-up armor save," and that just probably shouldn't work that way. I think it works thematically well for Black Orcs, but I don't think it should work that way. You know, it doesn't feel like a fair mechanic. I don't think it's overpowered because of the units on, but I feel like the mechanic itself is just inherently just a bit dumb and shouldn't work the way that it does. But them's the breaks. And yeah, that is going to be me for the evening. I've got a lot of painting to do this weekend, and I'm going to go, because I haven't even had a chance to build the models that I want to paint. So I'm going to go get some beauty